Now, let's see how we can solve this problem. And I want to listen as you listen. God bless you. Now, we want to find the domain and range of the following functions, of this radical function. So we start with question 1. Now, first of all, before we look at this one, if you look at this question, this one carries square root and this one carries cube root. Now, square root of any number will not work. The reason that, because if you find square root of a negative number, it will give you what? Undefined, which is what? That means square root of what? -4 will give you math error. But if you find square root of cube root of -8, we have an answer, because -8 is same as -2, -2 times -2. So if you now look for cube root of this number, you are going to have -2. So that means -2 now is the what? The cube root of minus, meaning that a cube root of a function always gives us all real numbers, but the square root of a function always gives us a value that must be greater than or equal to 0. So it must give us what? That means if I have square root of what? F of x, so f of x must be greater than or equal to 0. So that means the output of this particular what? Function must be positive. The output, that means f of x, which is y, of this function must be what? Positive. So in that case now, what I will advise us to do is that for us to find the domain, don't forget, domain are a set of values of x. So x minus 9 will be greater than or equal to 0 for you to find the domain. So therefore, s, because everything function here must be greater than or equal to 0. So s is greater than or equal to what? 9. So the domain is equal to what? S is greater than or equal to what? 9. Or what? You can write it this way. So this one is also the answer. So all real numbers starting from where? From 9 and above. So if you want to draw the number line, you draw it like this, from 9, then like this and above, plus infinity. So now let's solve the what? The range. After getting the domain, which is what? Just equate the function inside the square root to be greater than or equal to 0. Then let's make x is subject of formula, which is given 9. Then s greater than or equal to 9 means what? You must have closed it here, I've opened it here rather, then this place will be open. So that is just that. Now let's find the range. For us to find the range, f of x must be equal to y, which is equal to square root of what? S minus 9. I haven't done that. What I want to do now is square both sides. I want to have y squared equal to x minus 9. So that means s will now be equal to what? Y squared plus 9. Now, y squared plus 9 is what? We want to find the domain of the range of this one, which is what? A set of values of y. It will be what? All real numbers normally. First. Now, but there is a condition that is attached to this because of the square root functions. Now, the radical functions. Now, this square root function means that we cannot have a positive y function, a negative y function, a y value. Why? Because the square root, the output should be positive, should be greater than or equal to 0. Now, what we want to do now is, if you put minus, maybe y, these are y functions. If you put minus 2 here, minus 2 squared, it gives us what? Plus what? Plus 4. Then plus 4 plus 9 is what? Is what? See the same thing as 13. It will work, but 13 is part of this function. But because of what? We cannot have a negative function at the final answer, as the final negative output. Therefore, all this one will not work. Then the only one that will work is from here, from 0 to what? Positive what? Infinity. So therefore, our range is equal to what? From positive, that means from 0 to what? to positive what? Infinity. So that will be our range value. So range is what? From positive 0 to what? From 0 to positive infinity. So I mean from here to this what? To positive infinity valid. From here we don't take it because you cannot have a negative output like what I explained from day one. Now for this one, the cube root can take any value for domain. So the domain for this question is what? Which is set of values of f is what? S is what? All what? It's all real number. All real number. Why? Because what? It's a cube root value. I've just told you now. So the domain is minus infinity to what? To plus infinity. Which is set of values of x. Now, but how do you find the range? Range is what? Is equals to what? Y, which is f of s, the cube root of x minus x plus 3. Take cube of root at both sides. I would have y cube equal to 1 minus x plus 3. So what we do is what? Bring this one here. Bring this one here. I would have what? S is equal to 3 minus y cube. Now, this value, because it's a quadratic or polynomial functions, we are going to say the values of y is such that y is all what? Real number. But does it tally with the domain that we have gotten because it's a range now? Does it tally with the domain that we have gotten? Yes. Because the domain says the output can be what? Which is values of y can be all real number, which is also the same thing what we have interpreted there. Why the what? The values of x can be what? Can take any value here. Values of x can be what? Any value in the function in the square a cube root. So the answer to the domain and the range are what? Listed above in the question. Now let's solve the last one, which is the last question. Now that one says that what? The f of s equal to square root of what? This is square root. So the output should be what? Greater than or equal to 0. So I would have s squared minus x minus is greater than or equal to 0. So when we do that, what we are going to have is this. We are going to ensure that we turn the what? The function given to us into what? A factor. I mean factorize it. Now when we factorize, what we're going to have is s squared times minus 6 will give us what? Minus 6s squared. Having gotten that, what do you do next? Is we'll look for the two factors that can multiply to give you 6. Now, what are the two factors? 3 and 2 is better to give what? Minus 6 and what will give you minus x or minus 1x. So how? Minus 3x plus 2x will give us what? Minus 1x. And if you multiply the two of them, it gives us minus 6x squared. So I will replace with minus 1 with these two. That will give us x squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 6 greater than or equal to what? 0. So I will take what? This, then factorize what is common between these two. S into s minus 3. What is common here? We have plus 2 s minus 3. Because plus 2s divided by 2, you get s minus 6 divided by 2 plus 2, we get minus 3. Greater than or equal to 0. So I would have x plus 2 s minus 3. Greater than or equal to 0. Now, what are the positive value? Now, this one is larger than this one factor. This factor is plus 2 factor is bigger than minus 3 factor. So the smaller factor take the inequality, which is s minus 3 greater than or equal to 0. While the bigger factor take the opposite, takes the opposite, which is what? Less than or equal to 0. And that will give us s is greater than what? 3. But s is less than or equal to minus 2. Let's draw the number line. Let's see how it works and how we can interpret the answer. So that is the answer also. So the domain is what? F is such that f is greater than 3 and s is what? Less than minus 2. But if you want to write it, you can write it this way. Greater than 3 greater than 3, then less than minus 2. So if I want to write it now, the domain can be written as what? This, from minus infinity to what? To minus 2 union. I will jump this region. Meanwhile, I will jump. If I put 0 in this, s equal to 0 here, it will give me minus 6. And square root of minus 6 is what? Undefined. So anything within this range will not work. This one will work. If I put 3 here, it will work, give me 0. If I put 4, 4 square is 16 minus 4 will give me what? 12 minus 2 equals 6, square root of 6. So it will work from here. So this one valid. If I test minus 3 or minus 2 will work because minus 2 squared is 4, minus is what? Plus 2. 6 minus is 0, so it will work. Down here will work. Down here will work. So union what? 3 to plus infinity. Then lastly, let's talk about the range. The range, I need to check the mic, sorry. Now, if you want to solve the range of this question, what I want to do is first of all, you replace f of x to be equal to y. So we're going to have y equal to what? S squared, square root of x squared minus x minus 6. So the square both sides, we're going to have y squared equal to what? S squared minus s minus 6. Don't forget the output of this particular, which is y. The actual output should start from 0 and above. So in this case now, what we are going to do is simply what? S squared minus s minus 6 minus y squared equal to 0. That's what I did. So take minus y squared to the other side, come minus y squared equal to 0. Now if you solve using what? Minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4 is all over 2a. Now what I want to have is this. We solve using that. What I want to have is this now. We are going to have it as, that means minus b, the a is here is 1, b is minus 1, and c is what? Minus 6 into bracket plus y squared. Don't forget the same thing as this. Because minus 6 minus y squared is same thing as what? Minus 6 minus 6 minus y squared is same as minus into bracket 6 plus y squared. You don't know it now. Now, so that is it. So if you put it inside, you don't have problem with this side because you are making x. So don't forget, when you are finding the domain, you make x subject of formula. So when you want to solve for the domain here, we don't have problem with the 2a and minus b. What we have problem is the square root of the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac, which must be greater than or equal to 0. So what I want to do is just to pick that one, minus 4ac greater than or equal to 0. So minus 1 square, which is b, and 4 times 1 times what? Minus 6 plus y square greater than or equal to what? 0. So what I want to do now is 1 minus times minus is plus 4 into bracket 6 plus y square greater than or equal to 7. So what I would have now is 1 plus, open the bracket, 44 plus what? This times is we got 4y squared greater than or equal to 0. So I would have 4y squared plus 25 greater than or equal to 0. Now, what I want to do now, if you put it inside the function, meaning that minus plus minus 1 plus minus 1 plus square root of 4y squared plus 25 all over 2 times 1, which is a. Now you notice that any value you, this one, I just put it, this discriminant, I put it inside the function. Any value you put here for y will give you positive value, will give you a value that will be greater than or equal to 0. So in the first case, when what we are seeing here is a y, is so that y is what? Is all what? Real numbers. All real number. But, which is what? Minus infinity to plus what? Infinity. But there is a problem here. The output of this function y equals to square root of what? S squared minus S minus it should be greater than or equal to 0. It can never be what? Negative. So if you draw the number line, what I'm saying now is that if you have minus infinity, then here is 0, yes, plus infinity. Now, what you are going to do now is that normally from the what we have got here, because y square, any value you put for y minus 100, it turn positive, will be greater than or equal to 0. So from what we have gotten here, it's all real number. But this is not the answer from the interpretation, because I told you that the square root of a function y, f of s, must be positive for radical function, square root, not cube root. So in that case now, we cannot be what having negative sign as our value, but rather we pick it up from where? From 0. So this part will be the what result here, from 0 to positive infinity, because the result of this particular what function here cannot be negative, rather it can only be 0 and above. So the final answer, the range y, which is what, is equals to what? Y is greater than, such that y is greater than or equal to 0. So therefore, the answer is what? 0 to positive what? So this will be your range value. So that will be our final what? Result or final answer. So what I want to tell you to do for me is that find the what? The question, this question, solve it. Find the range and the what? The domain of f of s is equal to what? Square root of what? 1 minus s squared. So you look for that for me. So find the range and the domain of what? F of s equal to what? Square root of 1 minus s squared. So you send your answer to us in the comment section. I believe we have been able to an extent, be able to explain radical function. Don't forget that what square root of what a function should be greater than or equal to 0, or cube root. That means if you have n root now, then the n is 2, 4, 6, 8, and not greater than or equal to 0. But if you have what? N, that means the function itself will be greater than or equal to 0. But if what? N is what? 3, 5, 7, 9, that means f of s should be what? All real number. That means if it is odd number, that is what? Cube root of f of s, fifth root of f of s, to be all real number. I believe you have enjoyed it. Thank you. God bless you.